So I think that when I say putt putt, um, so putt putt is like golf is, I think, a lot like D&D, because it's almost impenetrable for new people to join the hobby and play and have fun, and especially know what the heck they're doing. And I think this is a real sort of product problem for the industry. There are some gateways in, and some people have obviously slipped through and made it in through things like streaming. And it sort of let a whole new group of people in through actual plays and just seeing the game display, a whole new group of people. But it's still really tough. It's still really tough. And a couple of things this year have convinced me that it's going to take something really different, and probably different things over a period of time to get some of those kind of people on the outskirts in. I think there are a lot of people that would be interested in D&D, but they don't know what it is. They think it's weird that it requires a book to play. They think that games should be easy to understand and get started, and they can be. So to some extent, like putt putt here, if I just walk into a golf club, I'm unlikely to be able to start playing. I'm unlikely to find people that want to play with me. I'm new. I stink. What's going to happen? If I go to putt putt, especially if I bring literally anybody, but even by myself, I can play. Yeah, kind of, Jesse. I'd have to know more. I could be convinced. But I think we can get closer to what the game is at the table than relegating it to video game territory. I'd like to talk about it more when I have some when I have something to offer for it, rather than just being like one of my pet peeves is criticism without, I'm not going to say solutions, but without any sort of attempt. Part of all of this, 25 ideas, PDF templates, all these things, is to get to that point where it's like, and when I'm talking about putt, here's like an example. So, for instance, like what's the version of D&D that is effectively sort of almost like, or maybe exactly like a box that a normal game would come in, and it tells me like, here's how many 3 to 5 players. It's going to take you about 90 minutes to play. Like, how do we get to something super approachable like that? So yeah, so that's okay. So that's why we say a puttable type of idea could be this one, because it draws it into an escape room context. 90 minutes versus 4 hours. Broad strokes here, not details yet. All right, new number. That was enough on one concept. Where should we go next? Awesome, Connor. Glad to hear that. Yeah, it's something that I want to return to. It's to some extent trying to find the right order to do stuff in, because I feel like I made a lot of really good progress over the summer with those puzzle props. This is the first time I've ever written down any of my one-shots for other people to run. I'm writing adventures specifically for the puzzles I've designed. They work together. I've been building these out entirely on my live stream. Like, breaking down the Fey alphabet on my trap tiles has been really eye-opening. And I'm super proud of this stat block for living stones. Before the players can assemble the Riddle Stones puzzle, they have to catch these little troublemakers. It's fun thinking about how someone might use these at the table. Like, the map should be in the centerfold that opens up. And even for a one-shot, it's nice to have a reason the players hear about the trouble at the end. Making a few iterations, and even recently making some more Riddle Stones and stuff, and I sort of came to the realization that this is all really cool. This is all really neat. I love all of this. But I feel like the next steps are unclear to me. To some extent, doing some of these simpler ideas, hopefully I can figure out some of those pathways before I go back to those bigger concepts. But like, yeah, the journals, the notebooks, they have a lot of potential too, I think. When I said earlier that I feel like I'm going to be making some one shots, it's because a lot more of these are one shots than I thought would be. I mean, eventually, Cole, hopefully won't have to be only that way. It'll be just something that you can download and, have. There are also a whole lot of modules I'm not super familiar with. I don't think I've ever run the Village of Hamlet. I think I took a piece of it. I think I took the like the gatehouse or the water wheel house. I forget what it's called, but I used a piece of it once and never again. I mean, it ended up fine in my game, but I made it work. But it's been a long time since I've used dungeons from other sources because it's just hard. But it's the town outside the Tomb of Horrors. I think it is. I think you're right. And there's a big building that I adapted when I was first making my custom campaign stuff. I was really into the idea of taking these old modules and sort of adapting them because I watched a whole lot of Matt Colville, and that seemed to be a really interesting idea. Like, go back to where it started. That didn't last very long. I did that a few times, and I was like, I'm tired of putting all this work in for ideas that are like okay but feel very out of date. It didn't have the same charm to me that I think it does to other folks. So, I mean, Colville stuff is great. I'm not discounting Colville at all. Like, he's one of my main inspirations for being a dungeon master in the first place. Like, no question. But, and this is what's fascinating about the game. Like, so many things he says inspire me and interest me and are fascinating. But I also, I'm not sure that he and I could run D&D differently, more differently than we do, because we come from different interests in the game, and I need to come up with a way to force rank this list. Yeah, good talk tonight. I appreciate you guys' help. Connor kind of brings into context that old adventures are fun because of who you played with versus how you. Good luck with that, T. See you guys tomorrow. I want to keep working on these stairs. Probably going to be. I think tomorrow might be doubling up on crafting because I've got bricks to update because it's the end of the month, and so some of those will need to get some work done.